Hello, I am Jamila McMallow, mindset coach for women executives and entrepreneurs. I help women heal their issues from childhood in my 90-day program, a results oriented, no woo alternative to traditional talk therapy. I also collaborate or partner up with other business coaches or non transformational coaches to provide mindset or emotional work for their clients. And I also serve corporations or small businesses by doing trainings in house to help their employees improve morale and productivity. So, today we are talking about is hiring a coach even worth it? Okay. And if you are watching from Facebook or LinkedIn, just drop a comment so I know who's here um, because I can't see unless you comment. But I want to thank you for watching. Now, this is such a good question because the fact is, we live in an age where you can pretty much type anything into Google, type anything into YouTube, and you're going to find a ton of information. Actually, sometimes to the point to where you feel overwhelmed, right? And you feel like, okay, but what do I do with all of this? Or what do I do first? Well, that's the whole point of why a coach could potentially be helpful to you, is because they kind of take the guesswork out of determining what information is the most pertinent to your situation. Now, but what is most important before you even start heading down the road of a coach? First and foremost, you have to understand a few things. You have to understand that a coach, their job is not to fix you. Okay. Their job is not to, find some problem within you, fix you, and send you on your way out into the world to just go off and do marvelous things. So if you're looking for someone to fix you, then a coach is not, it's not going to be the person for you. When you think of a coach, I want you to always think of the illustration of an athlete, because that's really the best example, because we all are very familiar with the role that coaches play in helping athletes become the best version of themselves, to perform in a way that allows them to win the game, to get their head, as it were, on board instead of just their talent and their body. So a good coach helps the player to become better, but the coach isn't fixing the player, if that makes any sense. The coach is working alongside the player, but the player is the one who has to make the changes. The player is the one who has to make the adjustments. The player is the one who has to implement the strategies and things that he's learning. He has to actually do the work. So when you're thinking of hiring a coach, to simplify, number one, the process for you on whatever it is that you're focusing on, we can say, let's say you're starting a new business as an entrepreneur. Let's say you're in your career and you want to hire a career coach or an executive coach, someone to help you move to the next level of your career path in corporate. No matter what kind of coach you're hiring, okay, you have to come to the table and be willing and ready to do the work. They're not going to do it for you. They're not going to fix you. They're not going to fix your business. They're not going to fix your career. They can only take what it is that who you are and what you've done and show you how to improve upon it and make it better, if that makes sense. So that's the first thing you really have to understand, is that you're going to have to do the work. Okay. So getting a coach makes things easier in the sense that you don't have to navigate a floodload of information. You also don't have to go through the 20, 30, 10 years experiences that they have gone through, their degrees, their expertise, the number of people they've worked with, the number of people they've paid to learn and know what they know. So when you hire a coach, whatever price you're paying is a fraction or a sliver of what they've paid in time, energy, life experience, and paying other coaches, other programs, education, all those things. But so you don't have to do any of that. You're basically benefiting from all of that for a fraction or a sliver of the price. And they're going to help you navigate through all of that information so that you only have to get the part that you need to be able to move to whatever it is that your goal is or your next level. Okay. But you have to understand that you still have to do the work. You still have to put forth some effort. Okay. And that requires you to, I have some notes here, to be the next step, which is you have to be willing and you have to be open. So one of the things that makes it extremely challenging to work with someone is if they are full of excuses. And excuses can sound like you're listening to what the coach is saying and you're going, yeah, but. I remember being in a program and there was a coach in there, and the main coach whose program this was, she'd raise her hand and ask a question, and he's trying to coach her to give her the information that she needs. But all she's saying is, yeah, I've done that, or yeah, I've done this and this and this and this. And she was not listening. She was not listening. She was more interested in proving how much she knew. She was more interested in proving how right she was, rather than understanding that she had access to someone who's making 7 figures, who's spending 10 minutes with her to answer whatever question she had about her business. And she's wasting it trying to prove that she somehow is more advanced than he is. And yet she's not making any money. She's not signing any clients, because this was a business program that I'm referring to. So my point is it's very frustrating when you hire someone to help you if you're unwilling to listen to what it is that they're trying to tell you or guide you through. So you have to be coachable. You got to be open. You got to be willing. You have to be ready. And by ready, I mean, you're going to have to understand that the coach that you hire for whatever your goal or situation is trying to take you someplace you've never been. If you'd been there, you probably wouldn't be hiring them. They've been, which is why you hired them to show you the way, but you've never been. So it means you don't know the pitfalls, the valleys, and all these things. So they're going to show you the way, but you have to understand that you might have to jump over some rocks, that you might have to climb a little bit, that it might get a little grimy, a little dirty. You're going to have to do some things that maybe don't excite you, some things that don't exactly thrill you, or some things that, maybe you're a little nervous about. But you have to be willing to try. You have to be open and willing to try. And so the most coachable person is the person who comes and is like, listen, I'm ready. I'm wide open. Just whatever you have. Whatever you're throwing down, I'm picking up. Give it to me. I'm ready. I want to move, grow, whatever. Just share with me your knowledge and expertise. I'm listening. That's the ideal person that every coach loves to work with. And so you want to be that type of client. Why? Because if you show up open and willing to receive, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get everything that coach has and then some. And you're going to be like, whoa. I mean, you're going to grow exponentially so much simply because you employed someone with expertise to help you, and you're open and willing to receive that help. There are tons of people that hire coaches, tons of people that do online courses, tons of people that go and get certifications, degrees, and all these things, and they never go anywhere. It's kind of like they're running in place, and it's because they haven't actually been open to receiving, to applying, to acknowledge that there may be a need for change, that there may be a need for transformation. Okay. Now, the other thing that you want to consider, or the third thing, and this is probably, they're all on the same level, right? I'm not really giving them to you in any particular order as far as importance, but you have to find the right person. Okay. You have to find the right person. And I know for me, I've worked with enough women to where I know the type of woman that I can work with who is going to get the absolute best results for my program. I know what her point A needs to be in order for what I offer to help take her to her point B. Okay. In the quickest amount of time possible, with the least amount of resistance. So it's important for you to understand, where do I need to be for this coach's expertise to take me to where I want to go? Because there's different coaches for different things at different levels. So if you're here, but you want to go here, but the coach that you work with only works with people that start from here to here, if you try to get into this program, you're going to get left in the dust because you've missed, you're not here yet. You're probably not going to get results. But if you're working with a coach maybe that works with beginners and helps them get to here, that's probably going to be better for you. And then when you get to this place, then you look for someone to take you the rest of the way. I haven't met them, a coach that can take you from 0 to 60. This is where I talked about in my video yesterday about when you're hiring a coach, when you're choosing whether to go one-on-one or group, where you want to be careful, because sometimes in very large group programs, you will have a situation to where you have people at 0 and people who've been in business for 10 years, and the results and the experiences are all over the place. And it can be very confusing for you if you're in the beginning. It can be very discouraging, and it can be very annoying if you're someone who's very successful, because you feel like you're being privy to conversations that you're like, oh, that's a problem from 10 years ago for me. And I'm not saying everybody has that attitude, but it can be a challenge when you're like that. So you really want to look for a coach who specializes in helping women who are where you are in your stage in life, in your stage in career, in your stage in business, whatever area of your life it is that you are focusing on, that you are working on. Okay. And not to be forgotten is the key component of transformational coaching. Like I said, there's executive coaching, there's career coaching, there's business coaching. It's very easy to see the direct line between those types of coaching to, let's say, to money, to making a certain amount of money. Because the fact and the reality is money is an important factor to all of us, because we need it to pay for things. And as my mentor says, it gives you access. It gives women access. So it's not that you are greedy. It's not that you are looking for, to be above anyone else. You just simply desire to have more. And that doesn't make you ungrateful for what you have. And it doesn't make you greedy or overly focused on having money at the expense of more important things. Okay, so let's make that distinction. So there's nothing wrong with desiring a promotion, desiring a raise, desiring your business to be profitable and at a certain amount. That is nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's just when you make the pursuit of that your priority over things that are much more important, that's when it becomes a problem. But the point I'm trying to make is when something is so clearly defined as producing a financial return, then it's very easy for us to say, oh, okay, I'll put this much money in, and that means I just have to focus on making my investment back. And that type of mentality, 10 out of 10 times will get you disappointed. Because anytime you enter into a program, it is for you to become the best version of yourself, so that you acquire the skills, the knowledge, and the ability to be able to do that, to make that amount of money, but consistently and incrementally going up and up and up. But if you go into a program and your complete focus is on making back your investment, how can I put this? Because I've done this, so I'm speaking to you from experience. You miss out on the experience, and you don't get as much out of it as you could have or would have if you simply released yourself from that expectation or that pressure. You're going to do it. I mean, if you've hired the right person, then you're going to do it. I've done it. But when you are overly focused on that, you can just make the experience unpleasant for yourself, put heavy expectations on yourself, and make it so that you're not really getting the full benefit of the program. So I would challenge you, whether you're hiring a career coach, an executive coach, a business coach, whatever kind of coach, that you never forget the transformational benefit of all of these experiences. Who did you have to become to reach that goal? Who did you become as a result of having done this work? And then don't forget to work with someone who completely specializes in transformation. My first 5-figure investment into a coach was for a coach whose primary guidance is transformational, in helping you in your thinking, in your mindset, in the way that you see money, the way that you see your pricing, the way that you see all of those things. And what she did for me was tremendous. And so, not to be forgotten is the transformational coaching that is available to you, because what it does is it too allows you to be open to receive the strategies and things that you're expected to implement in all of these other programs, like the business coaching, like the executive career. They're going to ask you to do things that you're not going to want to do, that you're going to be uncomfortable with. But guess what makes doing those things easier? When you don't have this whole laundry list of limiting beliefs, when you're not struggling with imposter syndrome, when you feel like you're good enough, okay? When you're not dealing with all these emotional things running around in the background. Yes, you can still do these things. Yes, you can still make more money, but it's going to be a challenge, and you're in what they're laying down. You can't really pick it all up because you don't have the space. See, I'll speak into what I do. The transformational work that I do is deep inner healing with my clients. And so it creates space within them so that they can receive and be open to these new ideas, these new concepts, these new strategies, so they can hit the ground running. So that, yes, they can make more money. So that, yes, they can have a better relationship with their husband. So that, yes, they can start a family. So that, yes, they can get their confidence back and start a new career. I'm listing real examples from clients that I've worked with, from my clients. So transformational work, for example, I call myself, I'm a mindset coach, okay? Transformational coaching, transformational work is often discounted because sometimes we feel like we can't see the direct line from that to our bank account. But it's actually what amplifies everything that you're already doing. So when you're choosing your coaching, you can choose coaching that's going to provide you with a strategy, and here's my thing, it's all beneficial. It's all beneficial. It just depends on where you are in your journey and which piece you're looking for. But never forget the transformational aspect, because it is the most impactful, because it changes who you are being. And it allows the things that you've learned, it allows the things that you have, taken into your wheelhouse. It allows you to implement them with confidence, with enthusiasm, in a way that maybe you couldn't have before because you had all this stuff going on. So just to review, is hiring a coach worth it? That really depends on you. Because if you're not in a place to where you're willing to be open to receive coaching, if you're not coachable, then no, please don't give anybody a dime. Or if you are not in the place to where you see the value of your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, if you don't get that who you are is the most important aspect of everything, then you may not want to hire a coach, because you're going to find yourself learning things that you're not going to implement, spending money and not getting a return because you're not doing the things that the coach is suggesting that you do. So you have to be willing and open, right? You have to understand that there's going to be work involved. Something is going to be required of you. So you are going to have to do some things. And then you also need to be willing to find the right person. Okay. And do your research. I talked a little bit about that yesterday, but do your research, find the right person for you, and then go from there. Like I said, binge their content, find out the details of their program, how it's delivered, because all that matters, because you have to think about, what kind of experience do you want to have when you're being coached. But those are some things to keep in mind. If you really want to hire a coach, if you are at a place to where you've kind of hit that wall to where you feel like, okay, I'm here and I'm ready to move to the next level, absolutely. Hiring an expert is going to help you move to the next level in whatever it is that you do. Trying to do it yourself is just going to continue to allow you to hit a wall, because why? We can't see past our blind spots. And it's very difficult for us to move through our own resistance. And by resistance, I mean our limiting beliefs and the things that tell us who we're allowed to be, what we're allowed to have, what we are allowed to do. So that's what I have for you today. If you have any thoughts or comments, please drop them into the comments there. And if you're watching live, thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching the replay, please say hello in the comments, and I will. And if you have any questions, too, drop them in the comments. And let me just put this up here. because right now I do have a couple of spaces open in my calendar for new one-on-one clients. I personally love and prefer to work with my clients one-on-one because it allows me to really give them that exquisite, private, exclusive experience. My clients have unlimited access to me because the deep inner healing work that we're doing really requires them to open up in ways they haven't before. And my clients are typically women who are always the strong one, always the one that everybody leans on, always the one being there for everybody else, the go-getter, the high achiever, the high performer. And so the question really becomes, okay, who does she go to for support? Who does she lean on? And I'm that one for my clients. And so by them having unlimited access to me, it lets them know that I'm going to be there for them, with them through this entire process. So they're not on their own. And then if this is like your first time watching me, the issues that I help my clients work through, that I help them to essentially heal, are issues from childhood, like, the relationship with their father, or, like daddy issues, mommy issues, and also past relationships. Many of my clients are divorced and had some pretty toxic marriages and had some emotional baggage left over from that they would like to deal with. Also, other hurts, other relationships. I've had clients who've had abusive step parents, clients who've been molested, just things from childhood that have been painful and that have shaped the women that they have become. And they're just ready to be free of it. They don't want to carry that around anymore because they're ready to grow and move into the next level of themselves. And with regards to the work that I do, I am a firm believer that the deeper you go, the greater the transformation. So it's not about something outside of you. It's about you really healing those deepest layers of yourself and thereby freeing you from your inner shackles, from your, inner limits, so that you become unlimited, so that you become unshackled, so that you become free, and give yourself permission to have it all, to be happy, to make yourself a priority, to have a wonderful marriage with your good husband who's been trying to love you all this time, to make a lot of money unapologetically, to do all these things, to feel good about yourself. That's the tangible result that my work produces with my clients. And how it is reflected in their lives is, yes, they go on to make more money. Yes, they go on to have happier marriages. Yes, they go on to do bigger and better things because of how they now are showing up, because they've changed who they are being by healing these deep layers within themselves. And the beautiful part of the work that I do is it's unlike traditional therapy or counseling, but it's also not on the woo spectrum either, as far as I'm not going to be talking to unknown spirits, and I'm not going to be using any methodologies that alter your state of consciousness. And I only say that because it's a wonderful thing in this day and age that we are so open to receiving help around our mental health and around our emotional wellness. But a lot of times we don't understand that there are also alternatives. It's not just one way for us to do our healing. And so that's really something else that I'm big on in my messaging, is that there's more than one way to do your healing. And so my way is one way. And I think that what I do, of course, is phenomenal, and my clients, results speak to that. But whatever you decide to do, whichever coach you decide to work with, I hope that the information that I shared with you in this video is helpful and allows you to make a wise decision and to have an absolutely exceptional transformational experience. All right. So please share your comments with me. If you have any questions about working with me, you're welcome to book a call by going to coachjamila.com. And you can also message me if you're watching this on Facebook or if you're watching this on LinkedIn. You're always welcome to send me a message and ask your questions. All right. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're watching live and if you're watching the replay, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next time.